Hello everybody and welcome to Jighm Games, where we are doing Final Girl with a random scenario from everything that I own. I did a poll on here asking what game you guys would like to see me do next, and out of the 3 votes, all 3 votes tied. I got 1 vote for Under Falling Skies, a complete campaign. 1 vote for Under Falling Skies, just a normal scenario of it. And then this game with a random killer and location and Final Girl, based on the stuff that I have, that I own. And I had them in the order that I wanted to do them in from top to bottom. So with the tie, the one at the top is the one that won out. So here we are with Final Girl. I own 4 of these boxes right now for this game. I think it's 4. That's what I'm seeing right now. And what we have here is Sheila up against Hans, and they're playing at the Storybook Woods. Now, I don't remember which set Sheila came out of, but this could be 3 different sets that we're playing here. Granted, one of those is just what girl we're playing. Alright. So I've got everything set up for family visit for the Storybook Woods. And our opening, event is Pied Piper. So the Pied Piper is going to be this white one. We're placing it in the village, which is right there where the killer is. Any other victims in the same space as the Pied Piper, now or in the future, are killed. So he goes around killing people as well. I'll just leave that reminder right down there. These are our starting cards. I'm going to halfway assume you already know how to play the game. But basically, 12 health for Hans. That includes this piece right here. And then 6 health for me, which includes this piece right there. We have 6 time that we always start each round with. Sheila can save 6 victims and do things with those 6 victims, gain some perks, and then she'll gain her special power, which is +2 time instead of 1 whenever you discard action cards for time. And each additional victim saved, she'll lose some horror, which is a very good thing. So we're starting with 4 horror, which means we roll 2 dice every turn. And right now, I am going to start with a focus from my hand. Now I'm going to have an area here for played cards and an area here for paid cards. So here's my first played card, focus. And I'm going to need a little help here because I did not roll any stars. So to get a success here, I'm going to have to pay 2 cards to turn one of those. So weak attack and short rest. I'll pay those and boom. I've got 1 success. I lose a horror and I lose 1 time. Now, I'm not going to do anything else on my turn as far as playing cards. But I think I will pay 1 card to gain 1 time. That way I have 6 to spend here. Reason being, I want to search Grandma's house because the songbirds are on top and I love getting those songbirds. So out of my 6 time I have to spend, 2 of them will go to the search card, which will go to my hand. I'm going to spend 3 on a distraction, which leaves only 1 to spend, which close call is the only thing you can get for 1. Then you get all your freebies back, which would be sitting here. So after buying, now all of my paid and played go to the market, which are all going to be 0 cost cards this first turn. Okay. Over here, that was action phase and then planning phase. We go back to 6 time. And now the killer phase, where we run this action here. Hans is going to target anybody, the nearest anybody, which is the Pied Piper in his space. And then he's going to kill in his space. So he just killed the Pied Piper. Alright. Now, with every victim death, this moves up 1. It's called Bloodlust. And it hasn't changed any of the stats, but this far right column here is the movement of Hans, and the left is his killing strength. It only takes 1 to kill a victim, but it'll take 6 to kill us. Alright, the second part of the killer phase here is to draw a terror card. He just came out of nowhere. Place Hans with the farthest target possible. Well, that goes as far as number of spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get there. So that's probably going to be it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also this one. 6 to get here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it's going to be this group right here. It takes 6 to get there at the closest. So he's going to go here. Now, horror is going to go up by 1 and then draw the next terror card. This one I haven't seen before. It's upside down. Alright, I was carried like a rag doll. Move the killer 3 spaces towards grandmother's house, picking up and moving 1 victim with the killer if able. So 3 spaces towards grandma's house. 1, 2, 3. That's the longest way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's pretty long also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Both ways are the longest. I'm going to go this way because I think it's most... No, I'll go this way. It's most disadvantageous going that way. So, he's going to carry 1 victim along the way. 1, 2, 3 spaces. I don't know how well you can see this board. Part of the reason I haven't done any videos lately is because of how difficult it is to see some of these things. But you can move along these paths. There are bridges that cross the river. Only 1 victim at a time can go across a bridge. That's one of the drawbacks of this board. Alright, next we're going to do an event. Now I'm going to roll a die to determine which event I do because half of them are sleeved and half of them are not. This is an unsleeved. It's going to become sleeved right now. Fairy ring. All victims at the Glen disappear, not killed, just somewhere else. Remove them from the game and do not increase bloodlust. So the Glen is right here. This one just vanished somewhere. Then this will get discarded. Now, that's finally it for the killer phase. Now we go to the panic phase. Now, there was a death this round. The Pied Piper died. So, everybody in the space with the killer right now is going to panic, even though they weren't at that same spot. So that's 3 victims. There are numbers on the board that show directions of panic. So the ones that roll a 1 are going to this space here. And then the 6 is going to go back across the bridge over to a safety spot. Finally, we have upkeep, but right now nothing is happening in the upkeep. So back to the action phase, where I am going to start with a focus. And again, I need a little help with my focus these days. Okay, I'm gonna live a little more dangerously here. I'm gonna play close call and just re-roll one die. There we go, that's one success. So, down one horror, down one time. Next, I want to go ahead and do my distraction. Yes, that's what we want. Down two horror, up two time. This gives me a third die to roll now since I'm in this green section of the horror track. And now I'm ready to do my search. Alright, one success on that search. Don't have enough cards to switch this one. So I'm taking the top card of my space and losing one time. That's the songbirds. These are going to go into my backpack. But if the killer is within 2 spaces of me, I could spend 3 time to send the songbirds to attack. They'll do 3 damage to the killer and then fly away into somewhere. Right now the killer is 3 spaces away from me, so I can't do it. I am going to sprint, or I am going to walk right now. With one success, I get to move up to 1 space and lose 1 time. So I will go here. And I am not going to send out the songbirds right now. I have no cards in my hand left over. And I have 5 time to spend. I would like to have more cards than not. So first let's spend our 5. So I will take a sprint, which is 2. That leaves me with 3. I don't do this very often. I'm going to take the improvise card. That cost the 3 that I had left over, so I'll go back up to 6. And then my freebies come back to me. And then the paid and played go back over here to the board. To the market. Now, that takes care of planning phase. Killer phase, he's going to kill in his spot right here, which is no one. Then we do a terror card. Oh, it's a minor dark power, unholy rage. Hans does an additional hit for each attack that he does. So that'll go here. But that also gives him 2 additional hearts. So the 3 damage I'm going to do to him here in a minute. First 2 have to come off of there. Alright. So that's the end of the killer phase. No panic. No upkeep. Back to my action phase. And I'm going to spend 3 time to send out the songbirds. He's 2 away from me. He's going to take 3 damage. The first 2 off of that card. And it goes away. And then 1 off of here. I do have a weak attack if I want to go up and hit him again. So it depends on what I roll on my sprint. One success, I get to move up to 2 spaces and I lose 1 time. So 1 space. Now, I cannot take a victim with me. Normally you can carry 2 victims at a time with you, but you cannot move them into the space with the killer. So I'm ending up in the space with the killer because I want to attack him. Before I attack him, I do want to focus again. Alright, down 1 horror, down 1 time. Now I will do the weak attack. This does 1 damage to him if I'm successful. I am successful, but to the point of doing 1 damage to him and him doing 1 damage to me in return. Finally, I am going to walk. Now that was an unsuccessful walk, kind of. I'm not going to spend any of my cards to turn those. I am going to do this top part of the fail, move up to 1 space. I lose 1 health. And I lose 2 time, which is going to end my phase immediately, my action phase immediately. However, in the midst of that, I am in an exit space, which is a green outline with victims, so I can save those victims. So this one's going to go here where I could get my 2 hearts back. Improvise, huh? I'm going to go right. Yeah, I'm going to go there where I get my 2 health back. Okay. So I can't heal any higher than my max health, which is 6, and that's where I am right now. It's time to go to planning phase. Since I'm forced to stop, I can't even spend these cards to add time. I have nothing to spend, so I just get my free cards back. Then my paid and played will go back out. Killer phase, he's going to kill in his space. There's nothing, but we draw a terror card. The full moon is out. Okay, roll a die. Then place the killer in the space indicated below. 5, he is going to the Glen, which is right there. Next, all victims in that space are killed. Well, nothing because of the fairy ring. If no victim was killed, draw and resolve the next terror card. Well, here comes the next terror card. He wants fresh blood. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. Otherwise, he is going to target the nearest victim. He's going to walk double speed to get there. So that's just this 1 space. Well, it can go here or here. And this is probably the worser for me, so I'll go there. Just because it's more central and all. And then he's going to kill 1 person there. So boom. That raises bloodlust by 1, which is going to increase my horror by 1. Alright. That's all for the killer phase. The panic phase. Well, this guy saw that happen. He's going to panic now. The 1 direction. So he's going out towards me. Good one. You're learning. Now I'll lay this down. I keep them standing up to remember they died this round. Okay. Now, upkeep none, so we go to the action phase. I need to get rid of the Pied Piper card. He's no longer in play. Okay, now I'm going to start with a focus. A terrible fail. I lose 2 time. I'm going to walk. Another terrible fail. Well, this one I'm going to lose 2 time no matter what. So I might as well move a space and lose 1 health. I'm going to discard my... What do I want to do next turn? I want to get a sprint for sure, which I can afford now. I want 2 sprints probably. So I'm going to discard, or I want to, discard both of these cards to go up 2 times and finish my action phase. So in the planning, I have 4 to spend. I want 2 sprints. I also get free cards back. Then my paid and played go back into here. Killer phase. He's killing in his spot. Nothing there. We draw a tarot card, and this is one I haven't done. Have some sweets. Place 2 new victims at the gingerbread house. 2 new victims. Gingerbread house. There's one. And there's the second. If you are on one of these orange spaces where I can search for items, you may spend 2 time to take the top item card. Well, I am not there. Then we do an event. Okay. Number 4 event down from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is an unsleeved, which can get sleeved once I get a hold of them. Primrose flowers. Whenever a victim enters the meadow or glen, they immediately panic. The meadow or glen. I want to put some reminders there for that. So here's the glen and here's the meadow. Now it says when they enter there. Alright, that ends the killer phase. No panic phase, no upkeep, so let's go to my new action phase. So I'm going to start with a focus. And what was that 2 loss from? I know there's a reason I'm down 2. Well, look at that. There's not. I should be at 6. Okay, so with that roll right there on the focus, I'm going to spend my weak attack and my walk to make a success there. Down 1 time, down 1 horror. Now I'm going to sprint. Alright, with that double success, I can move up to 3 spaces and I lose 1 time. So space number 1. At this time, in the middle of movement, you can do this. I'm saving this victim. I will put it right here, which lets me go up 2 times. Now I have 2 spaces remaining to move. 2, 3. Now I'm going to play my next sprint card. And that's just a single success, so I can move up to 2 spaces and lose 1 time. They both come with me. 1, 2, and I can save both of them. So I'm going to put 1 on here to move 1 space. I'm going there. And then I'm going to go to this spot and take the improvise card to my hand. Alrighty. That does it for my action phase, maybe. Yep. So I have 5 to spend. And I think I'm going to go with a Furious Strike, which costs 4. And then a Close Call, which costs 1. And my freebies. And then the paid and played. Over to here. Back up to 6. Killer phase. He's going to kill in his own spot. There's nothing there. So, terror card. He's just standing there. Up to horror. That loses me 1 die again now. And then he's going to target the nearest anybody. Now, his order of target in case of ties, and we have a tie here and here, is first... No, actually, he's not tied there. He can only go here. Alright. But I will tell you the order. It's most people, then it's most victims, or it's victims over final girl, and then finally it's final girl. Well, the nearest is just me, the final girl. So he's moving double speed to get to me, but that's all he does. He just goes there, and he's just standing there. Alright. Panic phase. No one panics. The final girl does not panic, even if someone dies. So upkeep phase, nothing happens. So back to my action phase. He played right into my hand. I'm going to start with a focus. 1 success on that focus. Down 1 horror. Down 1 time. I get a 3rd die again. And now, Furious Strike. Maybe. I think I ought to play Improvise first. Improvise. Double success, so until this action phase ends, this entire action phase, all 3s and 4s are successes. So that's the double cards that happen. So now I'm going to do the Furious Strike. And that's 3 successes because of that improvise card. Well, 2 successes is 2 hits on him, and I lower my horror. So, take 2 successes from him. 2 hits to him. Okay. Now, I want to walk. With a single success, I can go up to 1 space and lose a time. So let's go up to there. I don't want to play these. I've got 4 to spend. I'm happy with the 4, so I'll keep these in my hand. I'm going to end my action phase here. And for planning phase, I'm going to spend my 4 on a retaliate. That's a card that lets me hit him back if he's hitting me. I also will get my free cards back. And then my paid and played go back to the market. Okay. Now, killer phase. He's killing in his spot and there's no one there. Let's do the next terror card. Getting treats for grandmother. Take the top card of the village item deck. Yes. I get this bread. Discard during the action phase and choose one of the following. Gain 3 time or move up to 2 spaces. That's pretty nice there. Now, he's targeting me specifically, moving toward me and then hitting me. So, boom. His movement is 1, but that's all it took to get to me. His hit is 2. And he is... Oh, no. Okay, here's the clarification. Well, the clarification here is he was targeting me specifically, so he's going to hit me specifically. Otherwise, if he's in a spot and he gets a knife there, he goes after victims if there are victims in my space. But here he was targeting me specifically, so I will take 2 hits. However, I am retaliating on that. Now that special thing with these lasted till the end of my action phase. So in order to make this work, I need to discard 2 cards. So I'm going to discard a close call. and a short rest to make that a success. I reduce the damage by 2, which is nothing now, and I do 1 damage to him. Alright, so that's all for his terror card. Panic phase, there was no killing, so no one's panicking right here. Upkeep, nothing. So back to my action phase. Okay. Oh, I'm going to start with a weak attack. One success. I can make a second success. But no. I'll take the single success where I do 1 damage to him. But he's doing 1 to me. I forgot to do my focus. Let's do that. 1 success. So I'm lowering time by 1 and I'm lowering horror by 1. Every time it goes down in this space, I gain a time. I will now walk. One success. I can move up to 1 space and I lose a time. I am going to move into the gingerbread house. I'm ending my action phase. So in the planning phase with 5 to spend, I'm going to take a search for 2. And an improvise for 3. And my free ones. And then put back the paid and played. Alright. Killer phase. Well, there are victims in his space. Unfortunately, I left them there. This one dies, causing bloodlust to go up by 1. Now let's do the terror card. Out of the woods. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. Otherwise, all victims that are not in your space move 1 space towards the village. Alright, the village is out that way, so he's going there. These 2 are going there. And this one is going there, because that's the way around. And this one to there. Next, he's targeting me again. He's going to move and hit. So movement here, and then hitting me once again for 2. Now, this time I don't have the improvise. I also did not grab a guard, so I am taking those 2 damage. Okay. That 2 damage. That's out. And now I wish I had gotten an attack card on my turn. We are going to do a panic phase. We did have a victim die this turn. So these 2 are going to panic. And they can only panic out of that space on 1s, 2s, or 3s. We have a 1 and a 4, so only one of them gets out of Grandma's house. Or the gingerbread house, I mean. Now, no upkeep to do, so back to my action phase. And I'm going to focus. A total fell, so down 2 time. I'm going to improvise. One success, so only my next roll, the 3s and 4s are successes. I'm searching next. 2. So I can take the top 2 item cards from the gingerbread house. So we have the thorny vines. Oh no, that's Grandma's house there. Gingerbread house. Oh. Okay, I just realized. See, those were hard to see from here. I thought that was Grandma's house. When I took my very first card at the beginning of the game, I took from Grandma's house. Or I took from the gingerbread house instead of Grandma's house. So let's switch these two. Because this is the one I should have taken. So now I'm getting it along with this card, which I cannot seem to pick up. So Thorny Vines and Slingshot. And I can keep one of them. The other one I can put back on the top face up or at the bottom face down. Now the Thorny Vines, I can spend a time to place them down in my space. If the killer enters a space, it goes away and the killer takes 2 damage. Now the Slingshot, it cannot modify an action card. I use it without one. Once per round. I can basically hit them from afar for 2 points of damage. I'll take the Slingshot. I'm going to immediately put it into my hands. It's got 2 uses on it. The Thorny Vines I'm going to put back on the top here. This has 2 uses. Alright. That was a search. Now I'm going to walk. 2. I get to move up to 2 spaces and lose 1 time. So there's the loss of time. I'm of course bringing the victim with me. 1 space, I'll grab this one. 2 spaces. Now we're there. Now the Slingshot only has a range of 1, and I'm 2 away from the killer. So I can't use the Slingshot, and I could not use it along the way. Here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to use my bread to move up to 2 spaces. I can only take 1 across the bridge at a time, so 1, and then my second space will put me back over here. But while I was here, I saved this victim, and I'm going to take the Long Rest card, which I'm going to go ahead and play right now. One success, I heal up to 4 and lose a time. And 4 is exactly what I need to heal. Alright, planning phase. I have 2 to spend. Well, I think a sprint will do me well there. Alright, killer phase. And by the way, I know that I'm going to have to do something this upkeep phase, and I forget a lot about it, so I'm going to put a little marker right there to remind me, because this is the last of the tarot cards. Hans wants me. He's always wanted me. He's going to target me and double move towards me, and he's going to hit me again. And I did not take anything to deal with that, so I'm going to take 2 hits. Alright, no panicking is going on, and now the upkeep, since we're out of tarot cards, we have to reveal this. It's not too often I reveal the top card before the bottom one. Bloodbath. So every killer phase from now on, he's going to target the nearest anybody. He's going to double move towards that spot, and then double kill in that spot. Now, that does not mean twice damage. It means 2 separate kill actions. Alright, back to my action phase, and I do have a weak attack to use against him. Might as well hit him while I'm here. Well, I need help. So I'm going to spend my focus and my short rest to make this good. And now 1 damage to him, 1 damage to me. Next, I am going to walk. I can't discard to make those good. So I'm going to be using this top line of the total fell. So move 1 space. I can only take 1 of them across the bridge with me. I lose 1 health, and then we lose 2 time. I am saving this victim, and with that one I lose 1 horror, and with that I gain 1 time. I also now get to flip my card over. Have my special power. Next I am going to I'm going to use my slingshot. Once per round. I don't have to pay anything. So I'm using my slingshot. Boom. 2 damage against Hans. I can do it from 1 away and it does 2 damage. Alright, now I'm going to sprint. 1 success. I can move up to 2 spaces and lose 1 time. 1 space, 2 spaces. Saved another victim. Every victim I save now is a loss of a horror, and that gains me 1 time. That's all that I can do here. So going to the planning phase, and with only 1 to spend, I'll take a close call. And these freebies. Then my paid and played go back. Now killer phase. So he's targeting the closest anyone, which is me. Double movement. And then double hitting. Now, I am not prepared for these hits. So I'm probably going to die right now. The first time he hits me is for 2 damage. 1, 2. I flip this over. The only way I don't lose right now is if on the other side of this we see 3 hearts. No hearts. I am dead right now. So folks, that's the end of Final Girl. Sheila's family visit with Hans. Okay. So it ended up in a loss, but I did have him down to 3 health. I was really chipping away at him starting early on. Maybe a little illegally because I grabbed the wrong thing off of there. But I did use both of those things. I think it didn't matter in the long run. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. Hope to see you again very soon. Goodbye.